to just start off, I've actually already recorded this and the sound didn't work. Plus, I have a cold, so I will be needing to take some sips of water, and my voice will be a little rough and scratchy. So, we can get started now. My independent project for Vision Tech, the description of the project. My learning goal was to how to properly use a DSLR camera and how to properly light a scene and shot. My plan was originally to present some indoor lit photos, some outdoor naturally lit photos, and a short film. I changed the last part of the plan to just showcasing different camera shots that will help us with our upcoming film projects that we are going to be doing. And the end result, I obviously canceled the short film and stuck with a showcase of different camera shots. While I am talking about my plan, I can actually pull the thing up for you. So week 1, and I switched week 1 and week 2 up. Originally, I was to take indoor lighting, watch tutorials, and take indoor lighting pictures. Same with the second week, but with outdoor lighting. Third week, film some good shots. And the fourth week, put them together in a presentation, and upon completion, just to present everything together. Description of mastery of technology used. The tools I used were the DSLR cameras, a tripod, lighting equipment in the back of the Vision Tech building, and lighting reflectors. Tutorials I used were these 4 tutorials right here, and I have those up and ready also. The outdoor tutorials are these first 2 that I'm going to show you. This one basically talked about how to use a reflector and how to get good lighting outdoors. This one talked about, both of them actually talked about how to have the light behind you and going onto the subject and not into the camera. Studio portrait lighting are the next 2 that I'm going to show you. Basically talked about how to use lamps and how to diminish shadows and delete them. Same with this one, but it also talked about how to use like window lighting and how, again, to have the light going onto your subject and not into your camera lens. My project plan review. Did I follow my plan? Not exactly. I changed it a few times and got behind schedule once because I wasn't even sure what I was doing for my project. Did I adjust my project in any way? Yes, I changed what I would be presenting once or twice. I spent a lot of time on the photos themselves and wanted to focus more on those and photography instead of filming and editing, since I've done that before. I did that at the end of last year. I made a short film. Okay, so my indoor favorites. First of all, this is just like a picture of the setup. It just basically shows you how I had the lights set up, the background. She stood right there, did her thing, and yeah, just the setup of what I used. These are just pictures that we were messing around with, and we also used these pictures for her project, so that is why they have nothing really related to anything I needed. I just helped her out, and we messed around. So those are the indoor photos. And the outdoor photos were my favorite part. This one is actually looking into the sun, the camera lens is, which is, you can do it, but it's probably not suggested unless you wanted this type of picture, which I wanted. This one, the sunlight was behind me going onto the sunflower, so I got really good lighting onto the subject. This one I shot again into the sun, but it created like a perfect glare to where the sunflower was a very good rule of thirds. Same with this one. This one, the sunlight was coming from over here that way. Same with this one and that one. These are my favorite, mainly because I just got to work with my dogs and there was a really pretty golden hue, as you can see in this picture, and it's even more advanced, I guess. I can't think of the right word, but it's even more intense in a few pictures ahead. This one has a golden hue to it, more of a lighter one, but it's still there. So does this one, a little more intense. These next three have really intense golden hues, which I love. Especially with their golden fur, it just looks so pretty. So those are the outdoor photos. Okay. So these are the video shots that I filmed to help myself out and everyone else out with the film project. Establishment. The long shot, wide shot. The subject takes up the full frame, or at least as much as comfortably possible. The full shot / the mid shot shows some part of the subject in more detail while still giving an impression of the whole subject. I'm going to take a water break real quick. The mid shot, or the medium close-up, halfway between a full shot, mid shot, and a close-up. It's basically the waist and up. And that's Peyton just being Peyton. The close-up, a certain feature or part of the subject takes up the whole frame. In this case, it was her face. Extreme close-up. The shot is so tight that only a detail of the subject, such as someone's eyes, can be seen. Angles. This shows the subject from below, giving them the impression of being more powerful or dominant. This shot is used in a lot of superhero movies, as I've noticed, and what I would guess they'd be used in. High angle shows the subject from above. The camera is angled down towards the subject, making them appear less powerful, less significant, or even submissive. And I can't really imagine this would be used too often unless you're trying to create that mood. Overhead bird's eye view. Shot from directly above, a natural point of view which can be used for dramatic effect or for showing a different spatial perspective. In drama, it can be used to show the positions and motions of different characters and objects, enabling the viewer to see things that the characters can't. Usually, it would be filmed with a drone high overhead, but I don't have one of those. I had a ladder. So, yeah, I got as high as I could, and that's what came out. Eye level. This is the most common view, being the real-world angle that we are all used to. It shows subjects as we would expect to see them in real life from our eyes. The Dutch tilt is where the camera is purposely tilted to one side so the horizon is on an angle. This creates an interesting and dramatic effect. And there's not much else to it, it's just a tilt movement. The pan is a horizontal camera movement in which the camera moves left and right about a central axis. This is a swiveling movement on something sturdy or stable, such as a tripod or a shoulder. I used my shoulder, which I regret because it's just wobbly, as you can see. track is a movement parallel to the action, or at least a constant distance. In professional films and videos, actual tracks are used, which keeps that same constant distance. But again, I don't have one of those, so I had to do the best I could. Point of view is how the shot looks from a character's eyes. So in the shot, it's if Peyton walked into a room, it's just what she would see and how she would see it. Tilt. This is a vertical camera movement in which the camera points up or down from a stationary location. Example, camera is on a shoulder and you nod, is how they described it. A nod. Zoom. Altering the focal length of the lens to give the illusion of moving closer to or further away from the action. Basically, or I suppose that everyone has used this one time or another. It's a fairly simple shot. Dolly zoom. It's an unnatural effect, as you can see. Move closer, the background grows. If you move away, the foreground subject emphasizes. So if the camera moves closer or further, so if the photographer moves closer or further away with the camera, the zoom basically does the opposite. So it kind of creates like a kaleidoscope effect, as I would describe it. Again, like more professional shots would be a lot more steady and have a lot more steady hand and probably some sort of help with it. Conversation. Okay. Over the shoulder shot, otherwise known as OSS, framed from behind a person who's looking at the subject. The person facing the subject should usually occupy about 1/3 of the frame. This shot helps establish the position of each person and get the feel of looking at one person from the other's point of view or POV. Face to face, showing the characters having a conversation face to face, hence the name. Waist and up, and it's usually at an angle, just like this shot. Two shot contains two subjects in a medium close-up, again waist and up, can be facing each other, or the subjects can be facing each other, or they can be facing the camera. And the angle is just straight on. The overview of my project. Overall, I learned that the plan is there for a reason, but even though making the plan is the very first thing you do, you can always change it. Photography-wise, I learned that proper lighting is essential to good photography and filming. Problem solving was kind of a big part of my project. I didn't really have any major uh-ohs, but I did need to change the project and modify it to what I had available and time to do. My short film was going to take longer than 4 weeks because I had no idea what I wanted to do. If I could do something differently in my project, I would go back and refilm all the shots and study them a lot better on a tripod, more specifically and not on my shoulder. My biggest successful moment in my project was doing the outdoor photography because I got to travel, I guess, a little bit just to get some good pictures, had different settings, and I used different equipment and learned how to master all of it. And overall, I just had the most fun with doing that part of the project. And then another thing I learned was just like the different camera settings. The ones that I used throughout my whole entire project were just the basic settings, such as like landscape and portrait. I used those no flash because it could create weird glares, especially outdoor. And I just used Zoom. So that is my project. Thank you. Okay, now what?